Okay, so here we are, day 3. I think it's day 3. Could be day 4. They all start running together a little bit. Right, so I'm doing some work on the binding here today. Basically just scraping, and essentially the idea that we want to get is, you can see all the way around here where it's gotten dirty from all the nasty stuff that was on it. Also, somebody had rounded it off a bit, and you don't really want that. So essentially what I'm doing is trying to get a nice plane, flatten it out and clean it up here, which I've done in some of the spots. If you can see that well, you can see around there. And so what I'll then do, because this stuff shrinks anyway, I'm basically gonna, give it a little plane down there, so that basically we have flat and we have flat, and then there's just that little bit of rounding on the edge that naturally, happens just from the buffing machine, right? So essentially it should be as clean as possible. The binding has shrunk a little. You can feel there's a register along there between the wood and the binding, but that's normal on an old guitar. That's what happens. So essentially I'm just gonna start working with this again here. Again, trying to do flush, but I'm also trying to do this without removing any wood, really, if I can help it, and just simply get the sides of it flat again and get all this nasty gunk that's on there taken off. And if you're wondering why I'm not using sandpaper or something like that, in case you haven't done this sort of thing before, scraper works just way better with the old type of binding, the material. Sandpaper just doesn't really work very well. Doesn't give it a good finish, doesn't really take anything off. You end up rounding stuff off instead of having nice, flat sections. So that's the gist of it. Right now, I'm at this. This is another of the features of the KM model. It has the really flat, the wide binding all the way down here where the big time arch is. Just in this part, not over here, which is interesting, but just because of the way, when you cut it in here, the way the top is arched, it's just higher here. So they have a flat line along the bottom, but it follows the contour on the top. And that's not on every one of them. That's just on the KM here. KMs. I think some other ones have it too, but not all of them. But it means I need to be a little bit more careful here, just to make sure that I have a nice, level, flat thing. And then as I get closer to the edges, so again, I'm not doing this aggressively at all. I'm just doing light little passes, especially in the curves. It kind of wants to chatter a little bit there, and if I chatter, then I make little lines in it, which are bad. That would make me very sad, because then I would have to take the whole thing down to the depth of those lines, and I would lose an awful lot of the binding thereby. And like I say, that would be bad. So it's just one of those things where you simply can't be in a hurry about. Some guys might be faster at this if they've done it a bunch of times. I've done it just often enough to not be in a hurry. So